Eva Mendes' decision to step back from her acting career speaks to a broader cultural shift among women in Hollywood, particularly those who are becoming mothers. Mendes, known for her roles in films like Hitch, The Place Beyond the Pines, and Training Day, was at the peak of her career when she made a conscious decision to retreat from the limelight. Unlike many of her peers, she did not slowly fade away but rather took a definitive break, her last major role being in 2014. Her choice was in part to dedicate herself to her growing family. Mendes' relationship with Ryan Gosling began in 2011, and since then, the couple has become one of Hollywood's most private and revered power duos. By the time they had their first child in 2014, Mendes shifted her focus from career to motherhood, a decision that she's publicly expressed was intentional and fulfilling. Family above all, she has said in multiple interviews. Raising her daughters, Esmeralda and Amada, became Mendes' new full-time role, one that she's embraced with open arms. Mendes has talked openly about her mother's influence and her desire to replicate that same level of commitment to her children, often stating that she was lucky enough to have the financial flexibility to take a step back and focus on her family. She recognizes that not everyone has this opportunity, and it's one she cherishes. Her shift from movie star to full-time mom also coincided with a changing landscape for Latina actresses in Hollywood. As Mendes described, at the time she decided to step back, meaningful roles for Latina women were limited, and she didn't want to accept roles that simply played into cultural stereotypes. Mendes shared with Variety that she became tired of fighting for quality roles that didn't tokenize her ethnicity. While the industry has since made some strides toward diversity and inclusion, Mendes felt that the material she was being offered didn't align with her ambitions or artistic desires at that point in her career. It's important to recognize Mendes' passion for family and personal growth beyond Hollywood, particularly given how acting in celebrity status can consume one's identity. Mendes has worked hard to define herself outside of being an actress, becoming a savvy businesswoman through partnerships with various brands, including her own line of clothing at New York company. Despite her absence from the screen, Mendes' star power hasn't dimmed. Instead, she shifted the narrative, illustrating that success doesn't have to mean constant visibility in the public eye. Mendes' time away from acting isn't necessarily permanent. She's hinted at a possible return if the right project comes along, but for now, her focus remains on raising her daughters and savoring the joys of motherhood. For Mendes, the role of a lifetime has been motherhood itself, and she's embraced it fully, without regret or hesitation. Cameron Diaz, redefining happiness and purpose. Few Hollywood stars have experienced the kind of runaway success that Cameron Diaz enjoyed throughout her career. From starring in comedy blockbusters like There's Something About Mary to action-packed films like Charlie's Angels, Diaz was a consistent fixture on the big screen for nearly 2 decades. Her infectious charm, comedic timing, and girl next door appeal made her one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood during her peak years. Yet in 2014, Diaz surprised many by quietly stepping away from acting, choosing to focus on her personal life instead. Diaz's decision to walk away from Hollywood was influenced by several factors, not least of which was her desire for a more balanced and fulfilling life. As Diaz entered her 40s, she began to feel a strong pull toward personal happiness, which for her meant focusing on her well-being, marriage, and family life. In 2015, she married Good Charlotte musician Benji Madden, and together they welcomed their daughter, Radix, in 2019. This marked a new chapter in Diaz's life, one where her priorities shifted away from the fast-paced world of film and celebrity toward the simpler pleasures of family life. In a 2020 interview with InStyle, Diaz explained her decision to step back from acting. "I just decided that I wanted different things out of my life. I had gone so hard for so long working, making films, and it's such a grind. I didn't really make any space for my personal life." Diaz's candor about the toll that fame and a relentless work schedule can take on an individual was refreshing. In Hollywood, where the pressure to constantly work and stay relevant is immense, Diaz's decision to prioritize herself and her family was a bold move, one that she's expressed great happiness about. Diaz's pivot away from acting also allowed her to explore other interests. She has authored 2 books focused on health and well-being, The Body Book and The Longevity Book, reflecting her deep commitment to living a healthy lifestyle. She's also invested in various business ventures, including a wine brand called Aveline, which focuses on producing clean, organic wines. These pursuits have given her the opportunity to explore new avenues of creativity and entrepreneurship while maintaining a balanced life. Despite being away from the screen for nearly a decade, Diaz's absence hasn't diminished her star power. Her fans rejoiced when it was announced in 2022 that she would return to acting alongside Jamie Foxx in a new Netflix film, Back in Action, set for release in 2024. However, even with her return to the screen, Diaz has made it clear that her family remains her top priority. In a conversation with CBS Sunday Morning in 2022, Diaz shared that she's found tremendous joy in motherhood and that stepping away from acting allowed her to focus on what truly matters to her. Demi Moore. Finding balance between fame and family. Demi Moore's career has been marked by both extreme highs and deep personal challenges. Rising to fame in the 1980s as part of the Brat Pack, Moore quickly became one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses. Her performances in films like Ghost, A Few Good Men, and Indecent Proposal cemented her status as a leading lady, and she commanded some of the highest salaries of any actress during the 1990s. However, behind the scenes, Moore's personal life was undergoing significant changes. She married Bruce Willis in 1987, and the couple welcomed 3 daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. As her family grew, Moore found herself torn between the demands of her career and her desire to be present for her children. In the late 1990s, after the birth of her youngest daughter, Moore made the decision to step back from the spotlight to focus on her family. Moore's decision to prioritize her daughters over her career wasn't an easy one, particularly given the momentum she had built in Hollywood. However, she has spoken candidly about how her role as a mother became her most important focus during that period of her life. In her memoir, Inside Out, Moore reflected on the sacrifices she made for her family and the challenges of balancing fame with motherhood. Her dedication to her children meant that she took fewer roles during their formative years, choosing instead to spend more time at home. Even as she stepped away from the spotlight, Moore's influence in Hollywood endured. Her return to the screen in the early 2000s, with a high-profile role in Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, was met with great fanfare. Yet, even after her return, Moore continued to struggle with the balance between career and family. In the years that followed, she experienced personal difficulties, including a highly publicized divorce from actor Ashton Kutcher. Today, Moore's career is undergoing a resurgence. She has been praised for her performances in films like The Substance and continues to take on roles that challenge her as an actress. However, her focus on her family remains strong. Now a grandmother, Moore has spoken about the joy she finds in her expanding family and the importance of maintaining a sense of balance in her life. Gwyneth Paltrow. Embracing the role of entrepreneur and mother. Gwyneth Paltrow's career trajectory has been anything but conventional. The daughter of Hollywood royalty, Paltrow quickly made a name for herself in the 1990s with critically acclaimed roles in films like Emma and Shakespeare in Love. By the time she won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1999, Paltrow was firmly established as one of Hollywood's elite. However, as Paltrow entered her 30s, she began to feel a sense of disillusionment with Hollywood. In interviews, she has spoken about how the pressures of fame and the constant scrutiny of her personal life began to wear on her. Her marriage to Coldplay's Chris Martin in 2003 and the birth of her children, Apple and Moses, marked a turning point for Paltrow. She chose to step back from acting to focus on her family and explore other interests. One of those interests was the wellness brand Goop, which started as a simple newsletter and has since grown into a multi-million-dollar lifestyle empire. Through Goop, Paltrow has been able to redefine herself outside of acting, focusing on health, wellness, and personal development. While Goop has been the subject of both praise and criticism, there's no denying that it has given Paltrow a platform to explore her passions and help others along the way. Paltrow's decision to pivot away from Hollywood and embrace her entrepreneurial spirit is a testament to her ability to evolve and adapt. While she still occasionally takes on acting roles, most notably in The Iron Man,